When we import data, sometimes that data comes in with a trailing minus sign for negative numbers, such as this 55 minus, or the 1587 minus, 654, and so forth. Excel doesn't convert these values. In fact, it considers them not to be numeric, but text. But they do have a tool that allows us to make those conversions. That is the text to columns. So let's highlight all of these and go Data, Text to Columns over here. And it looks like they're all separated with commas, so we'll go Delimited. And next, put commas. And you'll see that this is still showing 55 negative. But come over here, and under Advanced, you'll see that automatically trailing minus for negative numbers is checked. That's the default. So what that will do is convert that into a number, and no longer will it be text. So we'll say OK, and as the default, we could have just hit Finish. Now you see the 55 is a negative number. The same with 44 and 654. All of those have been converted to numbers and are no longer text. Let's move on down to FlashFill. Now we've played with this before, and let's play with it some more. Here we have a bunch of numbers that are right in the middle of different sentences or even at the beginning. We want to pull those out. And so I'm going to type in 20 and hit Enter. And then we'll hit Control E or FlashFill up here. I'll hit the Control E. Oh, look at all the numbers it looks like. Oh, but you say, this should be 9.5, and that certainly isn't pi. Oh, so we do have a problem. So I better do undo and go back where we are. I said if it doesn't work at first, just give it more examples until it can figure out what you want. Let me come down here and put in a 9.5 and a Control E. Ah, that looks much better. In fact, I don't see any problems here. If yours didn't do that, you may need to put in some extra examples. We don't know how FlashFill works exactly, what the underlying algorithm is that Excel uses, but we find it works different on different computers and versions of Excel. If you need more help with getting the right answer, just put in more examples, and often that will solve it. Remember with FlashFill, though, you can't count on it. You need to check your answer. In this next example, we want to pull out the first, middle, and last names. So I'll put in Phyllis and hit Control E. It looks like it did a good job of doing that. There's no middle name for Phyllis, so I'll come down here and put in Keith and Control E. Oh, but now we got Phyllis in there twice, Kenneth in twice, as well as it just picked up Dorf instead of JR. So we better undo that. And I'm going to come down here and pick one of those that it really missed and put in J period space R period and hit Control E again. Still a problem. So we need more examples. So I'll undo that. And what can I do? Maybe I want to come down and put in G. Williams or something else. Maybe I'll just try one more in this row, or period, and Control E. Look, that did it. Again, we just added more examples until we got what we wanted. It even got the G. period William. Now let's put in the last name. Control E, and that worked quite well for us. Moving on down, we have some fields here that we want to pick out just the file name, horse JPEG, screen JPEG, index.htm. Now it has to be in the cell or column right next to where the data is. So I'm going to make this bigger so that it's obvious, and we put it in the next column over. Okay, so here I'm going to put horse.jpg. Enter, Control E. Nice. It pulled out all the individual file names and left the rest of the URLs. Moving on down, we want to combine these names, but maybe we want to combine them with special effects or other things with the name. So I could do something like this, put Howard, and put a comma, a space, and then Phyllis. And maybe a space and maybe a couple of asterisks. Or we could put Dear Howard or Dear Phyllis or something like that. Okay, and I'll hit a Control E. And it's nice. That did it very nicely. Reformatted it with those extra characters. Now, coming down here, just a reminder, you've always got to check it to make sure you're getting what you think you are. Don't trust Excel.